Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been, once again, a minute since I have filmed, and I'm just going to apologize for my lack of consistency. Unfortunately, real life has just been extraordinarily busy lately, and as much as I would love for this to be my full-time job, it is not, and my full-time job is taking up a lot of time and energy. And we're approaching the holidays and there's some travel coming up, so there just hasn't really been enough hours in the day for me to actually sit down and do some of the things that make me happy, which is why I have been, you know, a little absent on this platform. And not just absent on this platform, but absent in also consuming content on this platform. I am so behind on all of my favorite YouTubers' videos, and it kind of like is leaving this deep-seated guilt in my chest and making me quite unhappy. So I am back today filming, and I really wanted to dig in and revisit the look I wish I had done this past weekend and kind of talk about what I hope I'm not alone in feeling lately. And that is what I'm going to dub my Tryhard troll has resurfaced and is really just doing the most by way of rooting about in my self-consciousness and self-worth, and just has been spending some extra time really trying to like undo some of the really hard work I have been doing towards like self-actualization and feeling really good and happy about myself. And that's something that we talk a lot about on this channel, and I don't know, again, I hope I'm not the only one experiencing this lately, but it's kind of been a struggle for the last couple of weeks, and I'm not sure why this is going on. But nevertheless, this Tryhard troll is back and is just making me second guess everything, especially when it comes to meeting new people. In social settings specifically, I don't really get a lot of anxiety and nervousness around wanting to be liked and or loved in professional settings, but in social settings, there will always kind of be this underlying worry that I'm going to stick out and I'm not going to belong. And this has been, again, this cloud hanging over my head, this troll shadowing my every move, and it has been a challenge to kind of push through that, ignore the little nattering, chattering voices telling me that, you know, I shouldn't just be me and that I should try hard to be someone that other people will like and to look a certain way and dress a certain way and behave a certain way. So today I'm going to just do the makeup for meeting new people that will make me feel good, and that I wish I had done this past weekend in a very specific instance where I was meeting some new people, obviously for the very first time, and I really wanted to make a good impression, and I think that I did. I think, you know, the real me still very much shone through, but it was definitely overshadowed a little bit by this perpetual anxiety that I am either not enough or I am too much. And that for whatever reason, the genuine version of me, Alanna, was not going to be loved by everyone there. And obviously, you're never going to be loved by everyone. It's like dogs don't love all dogs. People don't love all people, and that is just fine. But there is still this little niggling voice, that silly little Tryhard troll inside of me who likes to resurface and pull out those old feelings that I am going to be, you know, kind of alone and meandering and friendless and loveless for eternity. We're gonna work on that today together. On this past weekend, I went out and met a group of people. I was introduced to some very important friends of my significant others, and obviously I wanted to make a really good impression. but I was so consumed by not looking like I was too much. So I underdressed in anticipation of these people being, you know, Toronto cool and dressing much cooler than I am, because my current self is very feminine and fluffy and sparkly and poofy dresses and sleeves. I still did a little bit of that, but I didn't go quite to the extent of the direction that I wanted to. And I think, undersold myself in the makeup space as well. Like, I really wanted to do a special eye look. I really wanted to break up this little Kaleidos quad that I've had sitting in my makeup collection for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And instead I just kind of went with a very pretty but very boring, just kind of brown neutrals eye. I had a great time. I don't regret the way that I was or the way that I behaved or the way that I looked, but I do wish that I had just embraced myself a little bit more fully in the same trajectory that I have been going up until this point. So that's what we're doing today. And I've now repeating myself 1,000 times. So we're just gonna get into it. We're just gonna do the makeup look I wish I had done for meeting new people. And if you too are struggling with meeting new people and some social anxieties around that, and you're worried that you're either going to be too much or not enough, my advice consistently to you and myself is to just go with your gut, just to show up exactly as you are and who you want to be. As hard as it is, just go in giving zero fucks about what anyone else thinks, because that's when I think you're going to shine and where people will recognize how valuable you are. First things first, the hair is just going to get pinned back a little bit just so that we've got some stuff off my face here. The bangs are going to stay down, obviously, because the only thing I'm going to do with my brows, as per usual, is just go in, and I am still using the Refi brow gel. And as I mentioned in my last favorites video, it became my favorite. It made its way into the favorites pile once I remembered that there is this little hidden brush that really allows the product to shine. If it wasn't for this little brush on the end, this would just be very much a meh. Which leads me to believe that anytime we are using just a brow gel, we just need a flat brush and or comb to really work the product through and kind of get that laminated effect. So as much as I love this, the price has me holding on to my butt, clenching my bottom, and I am gonna go with soap brows moving forward and see if I just, you know, can recreate the same effect with just using a brush. Then for my concealer, because I'm still just using concealer and I'm not, you know, really messing around with foundations these days. I've completely abandoned all hope in that regard. I have been using my Rose Ink concealer again. For the longest time, I have been using that NYX serum concealer, which is truly wonderful. But, you know, this was sitting in my collection pretty neglected, and I was like, I remember really liking that, so why not pull it out? I have used this on my channel in the past, and you do not need a lot. Going in with the doe foot on this actual product is too much. So I like to take an extra little brush and dab it onto the doe foot. And I got all of these little dots on my face with just one dab onto the doe foot. This doe foot carries a lot of product, and with this, a little goes a long, long way. So what I've added to my face here is going to basically give me all of the coverage that I personally want and need. And this is the shade LX090, and I'm finding that it is a pretty decent shade match for where my skin tone is right now. It is the middle of, well, early to mid of November, and I have spent a lot of time now inside. So my tan is quickly fading away, and some of the darker shades that I had in the summer are going to quickly become a little bit useless. But I really like that, and unfortunately, there's this little spot on the tip of my nose that I want to pick and have been doing a really good job of picking it, and it's quite hard to actually conceal, but I'm not ever going for full coverage. I just kind of want some of that redness taken down, and then we are good to go. Then I'm gonna go in for some bronzer with the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Toasted Almond, which I have been using again. And man, oh man, every time I pick this back up, I just am reminded of what a beautiful, beautiful, easy to work with, versatile product this is. It's just truly lovely. And I honestly think I'm getting close to the end of what's actually in this package because it's coming out a little dry. But it's always nice to just shop your stash, especially when you're in one of these moods where the try-hard troll is trying to convince you that nothing in your life is good enough. And you just, you know, pull a Hannah Louise Poston and shop your stash and kind of revisit all of the things that are currently in your life that it's so easy to neglect when you're in that state of mind, but you pull them out and you use them and you realize why you have them and why you love them so much. It's truly an effective way of pulling yourself out of that hole and pulling yourself back from the need and kind of that like instant like dopamine fix that you get by, you know, shopping. And I am proud to say, I'm proud to share that I did not shop the Sephora sale. It was definitely a tempting one. You know, I received that little card in the mail that was like announcing it, and then obviously everybody and their grandmother put out a Sephora sale video. I started watching those videos today. The date I'm filming, I believe, is November 8th. And it just gave me the opportunity to indulge in that content without feeling the temptation of, you know, pulling the trigger on a purchase. Right now I am in Christmas shopping mode and there's nothing that I really need to be buying myself. So for a bronzer, whatever situation, I'm happy with that. I don't need to go over the top. I just wanted to add a little bit of color back to my face. Just get some, you know, of that faux sun-kissed vibe on the high points, and I'm quite happy. Again, the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Toasted Almond is truly chef's kiss. It is so spectacular. All right, now the product that I wish I had used this past weekend rather than using what is also a beautiful palette. It's my little M Cosmetics, I think, the Da Vinci palette. It's all neutrals, it's gorgeous, but that's what I used this weekend. And again, while it was a beautiful look, I just could have gone purple. So this is the Kaleidos Quad Palette in Glowing Iris. And similar to the blush I was using and raving about in my favorites video, these palettes just come in this beautiful, like soft, cushioned fabric cases. And I'm truly obsessed. I really, really love and appreciate that. This is what this specific quad looks like. And as a purple lover, like, why would I not pick this up? It's so pretty. And I still have the little like plastic film over top of it that tells you what each of the colors are meant for. So we've got base, radiate, diffuse, and accentuate. So I guess, does it give me the actual names of the shades? I don't know. No, but the base shade is this one here. And it's like this really vibrant, almost a violet, but I guess because this is called Glowing Iris, it is more the shade of an iris. I guess they're telling me that this is what is to go on the base. And these shadows, similar to the blush, like they're so powdery. One little dab into this and like there's so much product on here. I am nervous. Maybe this is why I didn't use it on Saturday night when I went out, because if it went wrong, I only had an hour to get ready. But I'm just very lightly dusting that shade onto the entirety of my mobile lid. I actually quite like the application of that. It looks like it's going to be super, super pigmented and like stampy because of the intensity of the color, but it lays down quite nicely and is not too difficult to work with. So I am immensely grateful for that. Now, with a purple shadow on my skin tone, especially when I look as tired as I am right now, this could end up going towards like a bruised eye. We're just gonna go with it. We're gonna go and just shine bright like an amethyst. Shine bright like a glowing iris, because We love purple here. And this is what I wish I had, you know, come out the gate with on Saturday, rather than just safe browns. Enough with playing it safe. I've played it safe for the past 32 years. For fear of, you know, not being liked, not being accepted, not being wanted. And we have spent so much time, you've experienced so much of this with me over the past 2 years, just undoing all of that nonsense and really coming into my own and loving myself. And then just to have all of that kind of reversed in a singular moment because of some deep-seated old arcane insecurities. And again, this silly little Tryhard troll coming back to just really test me and all of my nerves. I'm quite frustrated by that. And I'm quite frustrated by the fact that I was so easily swayed and so easily pulled back into an old way of thinking and an old way of obsessing over how I was going to be perceived. And, you know, this deep, terrible fear that I was not going to be accepted for just me. And it's awful. I don't like it. So it is a little patchy, and maybe it's just because I'm not, you know, an exceptionally talented makeup artist. We have never claimed to be that way, but we've laid down a base of that beautiful base shade, and I'm gonna do the same thing on my lower lash line here. I'm gonna actually use the mirror in this palette and drop that onto my lower lash line. This is where I might get into trouble by way of, you know, the bruised eye, black eye look. But, you know, makeup playtime in lieu of makeup real time. And maybe at the next event, there is one coming up this weekend, maybe I will be brave enough and do this eye look then and really show my true colors. So far, for the most part, that's what I have been doing in each of the instances lately where I've, you know, been confronted by new people. I have just been me, and I cannot wrap my brain around why in this singular instance I was so nervous. It might have something to do with the fact that I was going to be meeting a lot of females, and I have consistently and historically been quite nervous about meeting and engaging with new females. Again, this is something to speak with my therapist about, I'm sure. But that is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna go in now with the diffuse shade, which is more of this like pale, I guess we would go like kind of more of a lavender lilac shade. And I'm gonna go around the edges. Ooh, it's so pretty. Do you guys get nervous about meeting new people? Like, it cannot just be me, especially lately. I don't know if it's just like the chaos of Scorpio season and the lunar eclipse just kind of unsettling us again. It's hard to say really, but there's definitely been a lot going on with everybody. And I'm not just saying that from like an observational perspective. I've been receiving that feedback from the folks that I do talk to, that everyone's kind of like burnt out, and maybe that's why our emotional states are heightened and we're feeling a little bit more self-conscious. We only have so much emotional bandwidth, and if all of a sudden you're thrust into new social scenarios where there are potential friendships or relationships on the line, and you're already burnt out from, you know, just existing in this world, what more can be expected from you other than being just, you know, maybe a little fragile, a little fractured? I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't remember the last time I actually used a quad. I don't know that this is having the effect that I want it to. I think we're really leaning into like bruised eyes. But we do have this absolutely gorgeous like shimmer shade I feel like is going to rescue us from the bad place. I'm going to take my new favorite little Eco Tools brush here that we discussed in my favorites video, and I'm going to go in with that Accentuate shade, which is the darkest of the purples in this palette, and I'm just going to go into the edges here and darken up the outer corners. I love purple so much, and like maybe there's some color theorist or true makeup artist who will stumble across my videos and be like, you should never wear purple, but I'm a Pisces. I'm me. I have a problem with authority. Don't come at me. It's not gonna work. And see, I can say all of that and I can be bold and sassy and stand up for everything that I want and believe in because I'm so safe here behind my camera. And then the real moment happens and the game changes. Because real life is quite intimidating and the stakes are so high. I don't know if this is just a Pisces thing, but I spend or have spent so much of my life kind of in this protected little bubble of my various fantasy worlds. And sometimes the real world is just quite harsh and unexpected and difficult to navigate. Okay, I've got this nice little flip on this side and I can never, ever, ever get it even on this side. I just think that's quite rude. Perhaps it is helping a little bit with the overall effect here. I still have this kind of like patchiness, right? In these sections. I don't know. I don't want to fuss with it too much more, but what are my options? Just going in with that diffuse shade again, the lightest of the purples. I don't know. What am I doing? It's not terrible though. Now with my finger, I'm gonna go in for real with this beautiful sparkly shade. And that is going, I guess this is technically like a first impression, which is funny because this is makeup for meeting new people, which is also a first impression. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I love it. Okay, except for the fact that I just got it on the inside of my nose. I'm a little too excited there. Wow. I don't think that I make a bad first impression. I don't think that I'm everybody's cup of tea, but I certainly don't think that I'm like nasty or obnoxious. Well, I can be pretty obnoxious because I'm very chatty, especially if I'm comfortable or nervous. Funny how that works. But I'm kind, I'm nice, I express an interest and I care about the people who I'm engaging with. And if I'm engaging with people who are individuals who the people I love, then I go into it with that as, you know, the precedent that's been set. If you love someone and I'm meeting them, I want to love them too because you love them. So I'm coming in without any preconceived notions. I'm not coming in with jealousy or apprehension, except for this time it was apprehension because I was like, I want them to love me. It's so silly. I feel like when we were in high school, there was this thing that like if you were dating someone new and they had a dog, if the dog liked you, like that was passing a test. Similarly, if the person that you were dating, you met their friends for the first time, like it just always feels like a test. We're always being tested. And I think I still have that living in my brain, that each of these interactions is a test. And so the stakes just constantly feel high. Because what if those people don't like you? You know, there's going to be conversations after that meeting. There's going to be discourse. There's going to be a whole debrief. You know, the Knights of the Round Table are going to sit down and talk about whether or not Guinevere is a good option. Or whether or not she's going to, you know, completely destroy a kingdom. And it's very stressful to be aware of that. I'm pretty happy with where these eyes are, but I want to add just a little bit more of the shimmer shade. So I'm going to take that beautiful little brush that I have been loving and just dab it in to this shimmer shade. And just in the very center, add some of that sparkle on the lower lash line. And I'm just dusting it off again. And I'm going to go in with this. I didn't mention that I was using this, but it's just this teeny tiny little angled brush. And I'm going to dip that back into the darkest purple here. And just make sure that on the lower lash line, that outer corner is nice and deep. Okay. It's pretty. I like it. And I'm going to go in with my mascara and see how it looks with that. And the mascara that I'm using a combination of the Maybelline Green Edition and the Essence Double Trouble mascara. This is just the regular version, not the waterproof. So I will BRB once the mascara is done. All right, mascara is on, hair is back down. I love it. I love this palette so much. It's all around just so gorgeous, and I have now completed the first impressions of all of the Kaleidos makeup that I picked up, and I truly could not be more thrilled. They also just released a new contour bronzing palette in, I think, 5 different shade sets, and so tempted to pick it up. I'm just gonna dust my face with a little bit of powder here, and because it is my only powder, I am using the Cheekbone Beauty Mattifying Moon Dust Translucent Powder. As you can see, I have really put quite a dent into it, and I don't really go into this with big brushes. I usually just take one of my fluffiest like eyeshadow brushes or highlighter brushes and use that and just kind of hit the spots that are most shiny on my face. Always my nose and around my nose, my headlamp there between my eyes and under my eyes, but I'm going in with a very light hand, and throughout the day, like, this does not keep you matte throughout the day. At least not for me, because I have an oily complexion, especially in the instance where I'm meeting people for the first time and sweating my balls off. That sweat comes through my face too. Okay, I'm gonna finish the look with a little bit of blush. I think I'm just gonna go in with a touch of my Phytosurgeon's Skin Spark in Sublimate, which I have been loving and using quite frequently, and I'm just very gently, because I have now become accustomed to this formula, very, very gently going into the pot and then going onto my skin, because it is, she pigmented, okay? She is pigmented, but oh, so beautiful. And I'm gonna take it just a little bit up into the under eye so that there's not that like hugely stark kind of like reverse raccoon that I hate. And then I think for the lips, I just have a little bit of this Care Zone lip balm on. It's just kind of a standard lip balm product, but I think I would like to add just a touch of color. So I'm gonna go on with a very light layer with this Ritual Defy Enchanted Lip Sheer in the shade Water Violet. And it's just kind of this beautiful brownie rose, but it leans violet. It has kind of this like very slight purple undertone. I don't know how well you can see that, but it definitely has that kind of like same blue in it that's in the purple of my eyeshadow. Pretty. I love this a lot, and I really wish that I had just been myself and felt like myself and had been rid of this kind of this uncertainty and apprehension on the weekend, and this, you know, deep-seated concern about how I was going to be perceived and accepted by this group of people, because I think regardless of what makeup I had put on, I would have had the same result at the end of the night, because I would have just been showing up as me. But instead, my night was colored with just that social anxiety, that social fear that, you know, I was simultaneously going to be too much and not enough. Now that I see this, and I've already been, you know, percolating my ideas for an outfit this coming weekend for another event where I think I've met most of the people that are going to be at this thing, but I'm sure there are going to be folks who I haven't met yet, or I've only met once and kind of have to like revisit that impression. I think I want to do this and just be me, because why undersell myself? Why undercut myself? Why show up with a, you know, painted beige version? Because that's not me. I'm not a beige person. I'm colorful. I spent so many years in my 20s wearing black and black and black and black and black and just trying to dim the vibrancy of all of my colors and all of my preferences and all of my joys, from everything right down to the way that I dressed and what kind of clothing I wore. And I think we've spoken about this before, but when I reached my 30s, for a myriad of various reasons and, you know, under the circumstances of more than one catalyst, I really just had a metamorphosis where I really just became the me that I was supposed to be, the me that I think I used to be as a little girl before kind of the world got its claws into me. And I love her. And I hope if you guys are experiencing something similar right now, and this kind of, you know, self-uncertainty, the lack of self-assurance, the increase in self-doubt, I hope that there are moments in a day or in a week where you look into the mirror and just go, oh my God, I love this person. Whether, you know, you're at your best or you're at your worst, whether you're at your cleanest or your greasiest, whether you're fully clothed or naked, I hope that you have those beautiful visceral moments where you are just looking yourself in the eye, in your mirror, and going, my God, I love you. You are amazing. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And whenever this version of myself shows up, that makes me proud, because that's what I'm trying to do for myself. And I hope that, you know, and everyone in this community who's, you know, hanging out here on a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever basis, I hope that's something that you're able to accomplish as well, because sometimes it's really hard and sometimes there are all of these external forces working against that radical self-love that is so important for making it through the world right now and just, you know, getting to the other side of every single day. With all that being said, I think I'm gonna let you go. I've probably been here for way too long, once again, because it's me in the land of Alanna's feature films. We talk a lot, and we talk in circles. Sometimes we talk ourselves right off a cliff. But that's just how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Just realized I'm not wearing earrings. Tragedy. And if I remember, well, you know what? How about this? Follow me on Instagram, and hopefully I remember to take a photo of what I'm wearing and of my makeup for Saturday, and we're all gonna hold me accountable for showing up like this and not underselling myself, not undercutting myself, and just going, like, coming out swinging, coming out with the fullest, brightest, sparkliest version of me. And I hope that you guys all do that for yourselves too, in one way or another. Okay, that is everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are new here and you made it all the way through this video and you liked what you saw and experienced today, I would absolutely love for you to become part of the Land Fam. So go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And with all of that being said, I will see you in the next one. Love you so much. Bye.